Hey everybody, this is Dark Side Elite here, and I wanted to do a quick video because this just came out. I just saw it on a couple of my YouTube recommendations uh, from one of the guys that I don't really listen to. He's a complete shill for these shows. He doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to comic books. Um, but he did do a video on this. I'm not gonna watch it, but if you guys want to watch it, great. Go watch his stuff, see what he talks about. But here's the thing. Here's my opinion of this. This is the poster of what they're going to be doing to the conclusion to the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Two things is going to happen. One, they're either going to a surge and they're going to do a huge amount of publicity for this last two episodes, or it's going to fall flat because they should have concluded this at the very end of um, of last year. So when they did the five part, they should did all five parts in sequentious order. Now, we just got in the very center. At the very center, we got basically Oliver Queen as Spectre. So we got the introduction of Spectre in the Flash episode when they brought Oliver Queen's soul back from Purgatory when they used the Lazarus Pit to bring him back. Um, there's a lot of things I don't like what they did in the I don't like what they did in the Arrowverse, especially how they did the Lazarus Pit. They made it really dumb in my personal opinion. They should just kept it very simple, and they made it way more complex than it needed to be. They wanted to keep it more mystical when it's not mystical. It really isn't a mystical item. They've actually made it very simplistic in the comics, and they could have actually used that as the simplicity of how people come back from the dead. Um, but there's two things I'm getting from this. And, I'm trying to not to be extremely biased. I try to make myself more opinionated and keep it as what it's supposed to be. But if you really look at this situation, Christ on Infinite Earths is is more about Barry and Oliver than anybody else because this is Barry's supposed to be Barry's swan song. This is supposed to be the fact of Barry supposed to be leaving his family and dying to prevent the crisis from ever happening. And for Oliver, it's supposed to be the end of his run. That's supposed to be what happened. Now, Oliver dying has happened in the comics before, and him becoming Spectre has happened in the comics before. I'm not disputing that. I think it's fine. I think it's a perfect way to end his character and have him not completely die, but him move on. And it gives an understanding of what happened to Oliver after Crisis and why um, the Monitor in the 20-year gap went to go get Felicity, and when she completed her journey and moved on, she went to where Oliver is. So that's what I think they're going to do. They're going to try to wrap that up as soon as they possibly can. Now, about this poster. Now, I'm sorry, my throat is still kind of raspy, and I'm still trying to get over what's going on in my chest. So I'm going to try to keep this relatively short. Um, Here's what I like about the poster. The poster looks really cool. It has all the main characters, the main people that are going to be a part of this whole process. My problem is, where's Tyler Hoechlin? Where's Brandon Routh? Where is some of the bigger characters that a lot of people want to see? Um, um, but but what I don't like about it is, here's what I don't like about it. And I'll get into more why I like or dislike about it. But what I don't like about it is, I don't like the fact that they put the two weakest links, the two weakest shows at the very forefront of the show, at the very forefront. One, this whole crisis event is not about Supergirl or Batwoman. It's more about Barry. Barry should be at the center point of this whole situation. Those two should be the roles should be reversed. Honestly, Black Lightning is perfectly where he's at. He just got in a situation. He's now knowing about the multiverse, and he's meeting Barry. And now you're going to see in all honesty, you're going to see a new friendship build between Barry and Jefferson. And also, Jefferson has 20 years of experience as Black Lightning. He has way more experience than any one of these heroes. He has the most experience. So he could be that very old warrior, that old fighter that could actually instill a lot of values and bring the heroes back to where they could be at, and entrust them with a lot of what he knows as being a hero. and what he's trying to instill to his daughters. So I think that having Jefferson right where he's at is perfectly fine. Having him in the back makes absolutely no sense. He is a linchpin character. He's gonna take the. In all honesty, Oliver was supposed to be the guy who has the most experience out of all these heroes. He has the most experience. Next to him is Barry. But now by having Jefferson part of this whole situation, Jefferson is now the person who has the most experience. He has the most experience. He's been a hero for a very long time, and he wants to be a hero. But the thing is, what's going on in his universe is slowly eroding his heroism and what he believes in. And I think they're slowly getting him back to that, and it feels very good. It feels good that they're doing stuff like that. They're challenging the morality of the hero by giving him realistic situations that make sense. And that's why I like about what they're doing in Black Lightning. People could say, "Oh, it's written piss poor." That's perfectly fine. You have that personal opinion about it, but I think that Black Lightning, out of all these shows, is the best written for this season. Anissa still feels kind of like they don't know what to do with her. Jennifer, they're getting her there. They're in my perspective, they're getting her there. But Jefferson is written perfectly well. I love what they're doing with Painkiller. He is a perfect villain. I just don't like how the fact that Anissa can beat him up and down the street. That makes absolutely no sense to the way they built him. He has too many martial art experiences. He has way too much martial art skills under his belt. He should be able to take her down like nobody's business. He should be the most dangerous villain they have. The most dangerous. And for her to beat him up and down the street, that means that Black Lightning should be able to whip him up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That if you're gonna do it that way, that makes no sense. So, but I hope that they fix that up a little bit and they get him closer to where they built him. He has almost close to 7 to 8 different martial arts inside of him, and he knows how to do it to a level of a grandmaster. They kind of did a matrix with him. So you're telling me with a guy who knows 7 or 8 different martial arts is supposed to go against Anissa, who knows maybe 2 or 3, and she's never mastered it all. It's just been a mishmash, and she's been just basically swinging for the fences. She doesn't. The choreography is good, but the way they build her character, she's kind of clunky because of her abilities. Her ability is just to hold her breath, just to truly become nay invulnerable. Well, he could hit her throat, and that's she can't breathe, and he could start whipping her up and down the street. He's done it. So it makes no sense. So again, I don't want to get into that. I just want to wait till the end of this season for Black Lightning to really get into the niche about what they did with these characters. But this poster is pretty cool. I actually like it. Where's Dreamer at? Dreamer is nowhere. So I don't know why they have her on this poster. It's like they really had to put some of these characters on there. Heatwave, why is he on there? Why is Alex on there? Why is Wild Dog on there? In all honesty, why is Killer Frost or the Atom? Why are these guys on there? Some of these characters do not make any levels of sense. And then on top of that, you have right next to Killer Frost, who's like in the top right hand side, right below her is Nash. Well, why are we seeing Nash? Why aren't we seeing Pariah and Harbinger? This whole Crisis on Infinite Earths, this poster, they should have at least give a homage that yes, the Anti-Monitor is there, but also, I don't know, why don't you see his Paragons? Why aren't we seeing the shadows of his Paragons, the one that he brought back from the dead or wherever they come from, and put them in and show them? I don't not show them in the like. I want to see them. I want to see them in the show, yes, but I say like show a shadow image of them. Why are we seeing that? Like how many villains are we going to see them fight against? Why are we seeing Spartan? Why are we seeing John? John has his role in this whole Crisis events. It's over. He is not going to amount to anything for the rest of this. It's about the Paragons now. And that's Supergirl, Batwoman, Martian Manhunter, Andy, I'm sorry, the new guy who's going to play as the Atom, because Ray is dead. I have a feeling he's either going to die or he's going to go back to his life. And now Lex Luthor, John Cryer's Lex Luthor. Again, however you guys felt at the very end of that episode, I can tell you right now, that was a Lex plan. That is exactly what Lex would do. That's exactly what Lex would do. Exactly. He would literally rewrite Destiny and take out Superman and put him as the paragon of truth. If you think that Lex would never do something like that, I literally stated in my video about that episode. No, Lex would do something exactly like that. He is a survivor. He believes, nope, I'm not gonna freaking die. Superman's gonna die instead of me. Sorry, bye. Too bad, so sad. That's exactly what he would do, and it makes sense. Black Canary, a White Canary. I'm sorry, White Canary. Fine, she's on there. That's fine because she's a paragon of destiny, I think it is. So I have no problem with them showing these characters, but Spartan, why? Killer Frost, why? Nash, why? He's gone. Nash is gone. He's Pariah now. Show us Pariah. Adam, he's gone. The new Ryan Choi. I'm sorry, his name is Ryan Choi. Ryan Choi, yes, he's the paragon of humanity. Great, put him in there. Alex, who cares? Heatwave, who cares? Wild Dog, who cares? Dreamer, who cares? I'm not saying who cares in a negative way of saying they don't matter. What I'm saying is in this story arc right now, they don't matter. It's all about the Paragons versus the Anti-Monitor and his disciples. So why are we seeing these minor characters who have nothing to do with these last two episodes? They have no relevance to this. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense. It makes no sense. And again, I'm not gonna watch anybody else's critique about it. A lot of the people that are talking about it, the ones that I used to watch, they're gonna praise it. They're gonna be like, "Oh, this is awesome," and they're gonna nitpick certain things on the about the poster. But they're in it for these shows, without realizing dude, I don't care if it is a TV budget. Either they do the story right or don't do it at all. And these last three episodes were terrible. The only thing they did that actually makes sense was they killed the 90s Flash. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful homage to end John Wesley Shipp's Barry. That was beautiful. Beautifully done. And Tom Welling's Superman, having him say, "Hey, you know what? I never wanted my powers in the first place. He'd rather have a family with Lois and live his life as a farmer in Kansas." That fits Superman too. There's a lot of instances where Superman rather not be Superman. He'd rather be Clark Kent living in his family home, having a family with the woman he loves, and not having to deal with the world. Let the world handle its own problems. But the way there's certain things in that instance that I was like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. But also, that's the way they want to bookend it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's perfectly fine. So there's a lot of things I have no problems with. I have a little problem with how they treated Kevin Conroy's Batman. It makes sense because it was a story for her. I didn't like how they did Supergirl, where she was supposed to be the paragon of hope, but it's like, wait a minute, she's never been hopeful in the last set of seasons. She's been losing her hope. So it's like, you're not giving us a story to build her character up. It makes no sense. So that's why I have a feeling that the end of this crisis event, it's gonna be Supergirl saving everybody. She's gonna become the beacon of hope and save everybody. The way they're building this poster, they're gonna have it where it's Batgirl and Supergirl save Batwoman. I'm sorry, not Batgirl. Ugh. Batwoman and Supergirl saving everybody. Barry's story is almost completely done with this. So to me, it makes absolutely no sense. That's why I feel that that's the way they built this poster. And what is Oliver Queen Spectre going to do with this? What role does he play? Now, some people are going to ask, is Spectre more powerful than the Anti-Monitor? Yeah, in some occasions, yeah, he is. He is God's vengeance. The dude will actually come and eradicate anything in his way that he feels is an injustice to God's will. Now, I don't know where Spectre is on the totem pole now in the comics, but back then in the 90s, in the 80s and 90s, you don't mess with Spectre. You don't mess with Spectre. You leave Spectre alone. You basically, if he shows up and he's saying this dude's got to go, Either you talk him out of it or you let the guy let him go. So I don't know how they're gonna play this in this, but if they were smart, Spectre should come in at the very end. I mean, Oliver Queen should come in at the very end of this whole situation and bring certain people back because he has the power to bring him. He can bring people back from the dead, even if they're erased. He can bring them back. He has the power. He has the power. He is the extension of God's power or the presence. And if you guys are like, who's God? God in DC is the presence. He is the true creator of everything. So that's the thing. We're gonna find out what Oliver Queen's new role as Spectre and what is Spectre's position in all of this. And they introduced Jim Corrigan in that episode. So my question is, why was Jim Corrigan running away? What the heck was he giving his power to Oliver Queen for? Why couldn't he do anything? So those are the things that it was cool, but where was this coming from? You just felt like this was dropped right there, and you're like, wow, oh, okay. But from a story standpoint, yes, it's cool. I'm not saying it's terrible. What I'm saying is, from a fan standpoint, that was cool. But from a story standpoint, where the hell did he come from? Why didn't he take care of the whole any monitor situation? Why wasn't he saving people's lives and dropping them on a certain world, or take that world and put it someplace else? It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird for them to bring in the Spectre and then him giving up his powers to Oliver Queen for no apparent reason when he could have done something. That's it from a story standpoint. From a story standpoint. However, it is cool to see that they are doing some homages to the comics by saying no, Oliver Queen, he dies and he becomes the new Spectre to save his soul. Now, that's a way of them getting rid of Oliver Queen, but not getting rid of Oliver Queen, because that means that in all honesty, they could bring back Stephen Amell for special appearances as Oliver Queen as the Spectre. They could do that, but say that Oliver Queen's gone. He can never come back to this reality because he's the Spectre. So we got to see how they do that, and also how they're going to treat his character, because in all honesty, he should have little to no emotion. We got to see how that transpires. What I think of this poster, I think it's an interesting poster. I don't like the fact of them putting Supergirl and Batwoman at the very forefront when both their shows are the worst rated shows out of all the shows. They're the worst rated shows. And even the two episodes of the Crisis Event, it gave them a bump, but not a significant bump. People were still criticized the episodes because they were pandering. So how do I rate this? Out of a 10, I rate this as a 7. It's above mediocre. But the only reason why I'm saying this is, one, you should have got rid of all the fluff. You should have made it the Paragons, and then had Oliver Queen. But you should have had the Annie Monitor and silhouettes of the people he brought back, so we can see. So we have so we're guessing who they brought back. Now again, you can go to a few of the other ones, and they can say, "Well, my hypothesis is this." When, if you really think about it, these guys, they have an in to the people who write for the media that covers this. They talk to them on a regular basis to get the information, and they sit on the information until it finally gets revealed. So they already know who the enemies already are. Now, one of them, we already know it has to be the Reverse Flash. It has to be the Reverse Flash. Now, more likely it's going to be Tom Cavanaugh's version. I'm really hoping it's Matt Leshner's. I really hope it's Matt Leshner's, but we know that it's going to be Tom Cavanaugh's, because this whole thing is about his version of the Flash. I mean, his version of the Reverse Flash. His version of Thawne. So we have to see who the rest of them are. Some people are saying it's Psycho Pirate, which it should be. We have to see who else. We have to see who else was brought back. The Annie Monitor brought back. So we have to see now. again, I will cover these episodes. I will watch these last two next week. But after this, I'm gonna give a firm review about it and talk about it and give you guys my honesty. I hope you guys appreciate that. But out of a 10, these last three episodes, they were a 7. The first two episodes were a 3 or 4. It was terrible. Just story principle. The cool factor brought it up to a 5. It was mediocre. But all three were it's a 7. So we got to see how they end this. Now, out of all of the crossovers, my favorite one was was Flash versus Arrow. That's my favorite. I love that one. And the main reason why is because it was intimate. It was between these two guys. And you had Rainbow Raider or whatever the guy's name was called, who turned Barry, who basically brought in the negative emotions in Barry. Which, in all honesty, if Green Arrow fought this version of Barry, he would have died. But an earlier Barry, yeah, I could see him, being prepared for it. But the major thing is that you can't prepare against a guy who can actually move that fast. No matter how much preparation you got. You got to prepare for the fact of you got to have something that can take him out. And Oliver can shoot pretty fast, but he has to shoot an arrow. Batman can just drop bombs. He can drop pellets on the ground and gas it all up. But the thing about Batman is he hides in the shadows. Oliver doesn't really hide in shadows. So we got to see. Like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit that bell. I'm sorry I made this too long. I just wanted to make this quick, but there was a lot of stuff I wanted to talk about, especially about the Crisis event. But like, comment, share, subscribe down below. Hit the bell. I'll try to get as many videos as I possibly can out, but realize I'm still having this thing in my chest. But I'll get some stuff out as soon as I possibly can. You guys have a great one and have a great day. Bye.